That part of the season was mad. A big losing streak, now a big winning streak, and it pretty much summed up by this match here. If you look at it, half-time we were down 4-1, had to make some tactic changes. We won the match 5-4. It's one of the best comeback I've had in years on FM. So the fifth goal came from a corner. At this point, I completely lost it in my little office here, all by myself, making it 5-4, the best comeback I've had on FM for years. Our great run, we were playing the 4-3-3, going really well. A couple of tweaks to rules, but nothing special. Now, half-time in that match, we changed to this. We got ourselves a second striker. We made the wing-back more traditional, as in going down that line. And it did the biz, and it got me thinking about experimenting for the rest of the season. Because at this point, as mad as it sounds after 20 matches, I think we're pretty much safe now. We're sitting in 9th, and if you look down at 16th, they've only got 10 points. So we're 20 points clear now. So I consider us pretty much safe. We could make a little run for the European spots, but let's be real. I can't help but scratch the itch of trying to experiment a new tactic for next season. We scored 4 times in the second half with that tactic. Maybe I should give that a run, or maybe it was just a circumstantial thing. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to use the next 14 matches in the league as a bit of a free hit to try a tactic ready for next season, because the 4-3-3 we've got now is reliant on controlling the game, and there's some teams that are just better than us, so we're not controlling every match. At this point, a slight break in the vid just to point out that I do have an extra section over on Patron. This is where I release all early videos, tactics, and loads of other stuff. You'll even see a script there for an episode. Loads going on there. If you'd like to support the channel that little bit further, you can do so under the membership tab. You can join for as little as £1, you know, and all the extra support is massively appreciated. So Hugo has been key, and not surprisingly, on transfer deadline day, some big meaty offer started to come in. Real spotting Heon with 4.9 rising to 6. That's the biggest we've received yet. Having rejected that one, West Brom from the Premier League came in with a straight 5 million rise to 6.75. And having rejected that one, in come Nottingham Forest from the Prem, 5.75 rising to 7 million. It's getting pretty tempting now, but we've still got power on our sides because Hugo does not have a release clause, so I can play hardball here. I've got to keep half an eye on the fact his contract does expire in 2031 though, and also half an eye on this. 6 in debt. 6. Not to mention that long-term goal. Remember the long-term goal of getting to that billion? Well, we're still on only 2.6 off at the minute, so 7 would make a bit of a chunk in that, but I just think we could get more if we hold on to him. So at the risk of upsetting Hugo slightly, we're going to reject that offer, but to be fair to him, he only has a slight interest anyway. He's a loyal kid, is Hugo, so he stays. So we did some experimenting, and it didn't go well. Jokes aside, it hasn't gone well, but we have dropped down to 12th, but you can see the difference. We're still 16 points clear of relegation, so we're going to be fine, but it just shows there's a time and a place to experiment with tactics and don't just flip willy-nilly, because it'll just wreck your season if you do it at the wrong times. I've took a risk here. It hasn't paid off, but there's a right time to take the risk because we had nothing on the line. Last time, which I forgot to cover, we actually beat Sporting at home. Shout out to Kev for pointing that out. But the beat is 3-1, but if you look deeper into it, match stats, there's nothing in it, and their XG is inflated by a penalty. So there is room for experimentation with a tactic that I'm kind of looking at. And it was this, it was a free at the back, and I'll tell you this, I have never got a free at the back working in any edition of FM, I'll be honest with you. I've had success here and there, but with teams like Inter, but I can never get one locked in. So I've used these games to try it. It hasn't really worked at the minute. I'm going to carry on through the end of the season and keep tweaking away because we've got that point difference to help us do that. So it's not quite right though. So we carried on experimenting, and we had some good wins, including this Derby Day home win against Boa Vista. And we absolutely smashed Amadora with Hugo Felix picking up a hat-trick. But in general, if you look at the run from the Vizela game when we started the experimentation, that didn't work, did it? So all in all, the season is over and we finished in a pretty respectable 12th place for our first season in the big time. We won 12 matches, which I'm delighted about. About a third of our matches we won. We scored 51, conceding 58. Not a total disaster, but work to do for sure. So now we're going to go into our next season, our second in the top flight, and we want to improve, and I just do not know what to do with the tactic. I'm tempted to hone down on the 4-3-3, which got us to the dance in the first place, but there's something scratching at me wanting to try something new. It might be a case of doing a brand new tactic. Now, with regards to the players, it's going to be pretty much the same players next season, because next season's budget is pretty much identical to this season, and that wage budget of 78,000, we're already over that, so we're going to have to do some wheeling dealing. As always, it's a good time to have a look at your contracts, and I've got about 12 players there coming out of contracts, so that's going to help my wage bill. We've got a new plan. Because the finances are so bad, I am going to try and only bring in youth players now and take a risk, Alex Ferguson style, when he got rid of some older players and brought in the golden generation. I'm going to try that. And as far as next season's tactic goes, I'm going to keep that in the bank because I know it's pretty solid, but I'm also going to do the dreaded this one, and we're going to do a brand spanking new tactic for the next season. But look, overall, decent first season in the big time. Now, Hugo Felix's value is shot up to 12.5 million. He's got some big clubs after him: Leeds, Sunderland, Las Palmas. Now, in general, our defenders have been really good. If you remember, Chao Amaral, we brought from Brazilian football. He's had a cracking season, average rating of 7. And if you look at his overall record compared to other defenders in the league, it stands up. It stands up pretty well. So he's a great pickup, and he's only 26. So he's going to be a linchpin for next season. Alongside him is Fernandez when he finally got fit. He's played 18 times now, but he's been pretty decent as well. He's got a bit of work to do in terms of heading, tackles attempted, but as far as blocks, clearances goes, he's right up there. But it's Gaspar who's probably been the standout. Gaspar, we signed from Benfica, the only player we've ever spent big money on, 400,000. He's now valued at 1 to 2.5 million. And if you look at his comparison to other defenders, the man is going to be elite. And we thought he would be. He's going to be hard to keep hold of. Now, other key players, as far as Luca Fletcher goes, he scored 8 in 29. To be fair, in a struggling team, that's not too bad. I think his role may change next season, though. And the keeper was a success. I think we finally replaced Breno. I think he's the boy. His attributes are on the rise thanks to playing regular football. It's good to know we don't have to replace that many starters this summer. But the work starts now on creating a viable alternative tactic for next season. Wish us luck.